and good morning. Welcome to episode 29 of On Second Thought with Mike and Matt, coming to you live on Saturday, March the 29th. This is the last Saturday before April, and this is the last Saturday before we're getting some Switch 2 news, which we will get to in a little bit. But this is a chock full of news episode and stuff, but at the top here, a little apologies. Matt and I are sounding our age a little bit. I have a hoarse throat from some acid attack, and Matt is suffering from his seasonal allergies. So apologies up front if we do not come across the airwaves in our usual luscious tones.
Real life shit happening.
All right. Real life.
We keep it real here.
And you know what, Matt? It is March the 29th, and I know that you had 77-degree weather yesterday in Cincinnati. We are 40 degrees cooler and under a winter weather advisory right now in Massachusetts. So,
yeah, it's supposed to be in the 70s today, and tomorrow rainy today. Tomorrow is a case we're in a enhanced risk of severe storms in the afternoon, so that's a little worrisome.
Yeah. Spring has sprung, and we're having all sorts of erratic weather. I think the next 5 days is supposed to be nothing but rain. But anyways, here we are, Saturday morning, our bi-weekly show where we talk about video games and other assorted stuff. So we'll kick it off right away. We got games that we finished this week that we got to talk about. We got some interesting news items. So much news going on, Matt, that things like Indiana Jones coming to the PlayStation. I think I saw April 17th. And even Game Informer is back. They have been rescued by another video game company, and they rehired everybody and gave everybody raises and new title changes. So much.
That is great news.
So much news that stuff didn't even make the blotter this week. But yes, congrats to Game Informer for coming back and rehiring everybody. I know that a lot of people scattered around and took other jobs or started their own ventures, but they rehired everybody, and they got, from what it sounds like, hefty promotions and job titles. So I hope it's long and prosperous for them.
Yeah.
So here we are, our two-man show with no title changes and no hefty bonuses, but back at it once again. And I don't know about you, Matt, during the lull periods of the day or the week, sometimes you can find me on BlueSky or Reddit. And Reddit is the place, Matt, where the tinkerers like to flock. Okay?
Yes.
You have the people that they buy whatever product they buy. They just don't enjoy it for like an hour, 5 hours, 5 days, 5 weeks. Immediately opening the thing up and tinkering with it to the nth degree. And inevitably you have some people breaking stuff. What do I do? Please help me. I don't have a tinkerer's bone in my body, with the exception of like opening up the PlayStation and putting in, an M.2 stick, right? That's like, sort of, I don't even really call that tinkering because they give you instructions and the slot drive is there to do. You know what I mean? It's.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit of tinkering going on there when you're doing something like that. It's not major tinkering, but yeah, I would say that's tinkering. It's, I think you bring up a good point. A lot of people buying all the stuff, like the Ally, the Steam Deck, cars, where the first thing they do, they're swapping out the wheels, or they're adding tint, or putting turbochargers on, or same with the Steam Deck and the Ally, they're messing with the settings, or adding bigger batteries and that. And I think maybe one thing that people are doing is maybe trying to make it their own. These are mass-produced items. There's no, I wouldn't say character to them, but people are trying, especially a car, trying to make it their own or something, customizing it. I think there's a little bit of that to it.
I mean, yeah, to each their own, whatever floats your boat, right?
Yeah.
When I spend a lot of money on a car, the first thing I'm not trying to do is spend more money by buying 4 new tires that I'm sure you're not downgrading, right? You're upgrading those tires. So you're
right.
So you're putting better tires on there, better, what do they call them? Wheel mags, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's more money. The tint, I didn't even think about cars. I was trying to keep it in the realm of gaming, but yeah, cars are exactly the same thing. But yeah, I know a lot of people there. I know when you got the Ally and you said you updated the memory, right? Inside it.
Yeah.
Prior to companies mass producing memory at a smaller size, a smaller dot like M2 dot stick, people were cutting them in half.
Yeah.
And putting them in there.
Making these wild connector things and holders and stuff like that. Yeah.
And just so you don't have to download games, and then so you're not playing the download install game over and over again, so you can just load it up with the million games as you want. I don't know. Unless you live in a rural place, this is the rub here. If you live in a rural place, I don't think you're fucking cutting shit up and putting it in there. I think you got other problems to worry about besides that. If you're living in the cul-de-sac and you're going away to the weekend to the ranch, you can do your shit at home, download it, uninstall, keep it out, whatever it is, and then go. But, it's one thing if you just have to open it up and then put something in there and close it back down and boom, you go. It's another thing if all of a sudden you're hacking this, like, getting out like some sort of saw to cut memory in half and then put it in there. But I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to judge. I just love to hear the mindset of some of these people, and like you said, make it their own. I think that's a good starting point, because I saw this one woman. She's like, "Yeah, the Ally or the Steam Deck just showed up. Isn't this great?" And I don't know what the fucking thing was. There was so much pink on the screen, I couldn't tell what was going on. Like, the case was just all pink. The thumbsticks were not the same like, this woman was on the ready. Like this, like the UPS or FedEx guys got whiplash. The box was taken so fast from him, and that's sort of I have fallen victim to this as well with getting certain types of controllers. But how many times are you looking at the device versus looking at the screen? So I'm trying to get at is when you're playing the game, whatever game it is on the device, eventually your eyes just settle to the screen and sort of block out all the other visuals.
Sure.
No, like when are you admiring all that pink or whatever you're doing, all that case customization and stick customizations? Is it just when you put it on the shelf, or is it just a happy feeling like, hey, this is something I can do. It makes me happy, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. Again, not here to judge. I'm just trying to get in the mindset. Like you said, I think make it your own. Everybody wants to be their individual, right? I guess is what it comes down to.
Yeah. I can, with the shell swaps and all that stuff and changing the colors of them. I think that's more, when you're not playing it, a lot of people might have it on display on a shelf or something maybe, or just they like the way it looks when it's sitting on their coffee table, what have you, or out in public type of thing. I think there's a lot of that. But yeah, it's like it's like some of these video games where you spend an hour or so customizing your character, how he looks, and then you never see him again.
Yeah, because you're playing in first person.
Yeah, right. So it's like it goes back to what you said. When you're playing these, you're just looking at the screen, not the case or anything. So it's got to be for other people to see or take notice or whatever.
I guess if you're handy and you could pull it off, more power to you. But the ones that crack me up on Reddit, it's like, how fucked am I? And it's like, well, fucker, you weren't just trying to side load something, like software related. That's a whole other conversation. You were trying to, perform a lobotomy on this thing. And, the fuckness is all on you. And you shouldn't have to, like, some of them, like, you think, Steam or Valve will, give me a new one. No, they're not.
Yeah, you really butchered it up. Yeah. No, they're not going to do that. And I think, a lot of these manufacturers, like the Steam Deck, Ally, Sony, they allow it to where you can go in and put in bigger hard drives and modify certain things up to a point, up to a limit. I mean, you're not going to go in and start soldering. Well, you're not supposed to go and start soldering up your motherboard with other shit, or add on USBs and all that crap.
I'm pretty sure once you open up the Steam Deck or the Ally, your warranty is toast. There's no There is it's, I don't know, I'd have to read about the PlayStation, because the PlayStation, like I said, has an empty slot there, and they have a whole FAQ and process for you to do that. It's not like you're taking out what's already in the system and replacing it with something else. There is a blank drive there for you to add something to it. The Steam Deck and the Ally, you are taking something away and replacing it. And I think just like back in the day, in the PlayStation days, you could take out the hard drive and put a new one in, and I think that would void your warranty. Right? Like,
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
PS4, PS3 days, you could open it up and take out everybody was buying those laptop hard drives and swapping them out, right? I'm pretty sure once you swapped out the stock drive, there goes your warranty. But I don't believe on the PS5, once you open it up and put in that additional drive, that it voids the warranty.
Weren't they encouraging that on the PS4? Didn't Sony actually put out a guide for that on the PS4? Or am I think PS3? I think you're right. I think that voided the warranty. But didn't on the PS4 wasn't Sony cool with that too? I can't remember offhand. It's been so long.
Yeah, same. I thought you had to break some sort of tape or something. I can't remember if that right. I can't remember if that's the PS3. They did have FAQs, I think, for both systems. But I think in the FAQ it said, hey, once you do this,
all bets are off.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I see the Reddit, the Reddit threads out there. Some people have, very handy. I wish I could do that, some of that stuff myself. But when I'm on some of these social media sites, specifically Instagram, I'm always getting fed this advertisement for a retro system. It's small, like a Game Boy, beautiful OLED screen. But inevitably, what do you got to do with these things, Matt? You got to get ROMs for them, right? And I start going down this rabbit hole of tinkering, and every site out there, retro site, has very, very helpful documentation on the tinkering that you need to do to set up all these things. But we've talked about this before. What do none of these sites tell you?
How to get the ROMs.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which you got, I guess, technically, legally, you're supposed to own the game first before you get some of these things. Emulation is something I would love to do with my Ally or my Steam Deck, but you're talking about the tinkering in that. There's a lot that goes into some of the shit to actually get some of the stuff to work.
Yeah, I don't have the time or the patience. I'd like to ship it off to someone and then have it come back, Yeah, that is always the rub, where you get these things. You know what I would love? What I do follow on Reddit, I would love to get an original Xbox, the OG Xbox, that has been modified with the HDMI.
You're talking about the old black one?
Yeah, and they come in many different colors. They had the that translucent, green and orange, the crystal Mountain Dew one. But yes, the black one, essentially, the Xbox One wasn't that much different than it. They were kind of both like black VCRs. But yeah, the OG Xbox that came out in the early 2000s. I'd love to get it, just because that was my system when I got back into gaming. That was the first thing I started playing again. I did a lot of Dead or Alive and Amped and other assorted things. So I would love to get an HDMI one and, get a few of those games like, the Burnout games, the Amped games, some of those games I played. They might be on backwards compatibility. I'm not sure if all of them are, but I've seen some of those people, the tinkering with it and have the modified Xboxes. First of all, when you're talking about from a showpiece in the room, some of the stuff people have done with them, changing out that sort of center, the Xbox logo in the center. I'm not sure what they call that. It almost looks like a large coin. Pendant or whatever. From a showpiece perspective, they look really sharp. And then when you have them up on the, the modern televisions with HDMI, having that first sort of logo and UI pop up on the screen, it looks really nice. But
yeah,
a lot of those systems, the Eurogamer, I think not Eurogamer, Digital Foundry, a couple episodes ago, maybe 3 episodes ago, did a quick news segment where this guy is developing sort of like these components that stack together so you can have all these types of systems connected to your television at once. And it was like, modular. So if you had like, the N64 and the Dreamcast and an Xbox and the OG Play, you'd buy all these modules that would sync together to the brain, and then the brain would plug into your television, and there'd be, some sort of remote that would tell you to, okay, flip to module, 3, and that pulls up your Dreamcast.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very, that's the type of shit, people ask, Mike, like, what would you like to do in retirement? Matt, of course, wants to be a pipe smoker and fix bicycles at the shop. I would, love to be like, dabble in that type of stuff where I have a bunch of different, televisions in the room and have different various systems hooked up, No, I'm not saying take a deep dive in collecting, a whole bunch of systems, but just, I really enjoyed the Dreamcast. I wish I still had that. The OG Xbox, PS2 type stuff. A lot of those things, I can't remember the first PS2 used the VGA cables, and then the later PS2 went HDMI. I'm not sure if I'm vaguely remembering, or they all came in.
Yeah, I can't remember there.
Or you had to do a little bit of a hybrid. You had to plug them in. I don't know. But anyways, I would like to do some of that type of stuff in retirement. And that module system that they showcased on Digital Foundry a couple episodes back was really neat. Of course, we talked, I think, on our show many episodes ago about the guy in, was he in Dubai?
Yeah, over in Saudi Arabia somewhere.
Yeah, he broke all sorts of records with how many systems, and he had like a whole computer system where he could punch it up.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that when he was talking about that. I was just thinking about that guy. He's got that all set up.
What the fuck's his electric bill like? I mean, got all that shit. I'm not sure if all that shit's just on, or if he's got it, if the program. Anyways, does it when he calls it up, does it actually turn it on as well? Who knows?
Yeah, because a lot of them back in the day, well, even still, you got to actually turn it on for it to do something. Yeah, you had to go up and press the button.
Yeah.
And
some of those old systems, I'm not sure if it's desirable to leave them on. Like, I'm not sure how you have your energy settings on these PS5. Well, you don't have a PS5, but the Xbox, you can leave it in sort of like listening mode, like low power mode. Or you can turn it completely off, or there's some sort of, I think, like eco-friendly mode as well. I'm not sure what you have. This.
I remember what I got set on. It's supposed to be set on whichever one. If there's an update, it automatically updates and stuff. Is what it's supposed to be.
I believe there's 2 flavors of that now. There's one it's using more wattage, and then there's another one that has. I think if you use the other one, you can't remote into it, but it could still take updates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I got mine set to. Yeah, I know my computer's always on. I mean, it goes to sleep after a while, but I mean, it's always churning, doing something.
I turn mine off, pretty much.
You actually shut it down?
Yeah. That's a whole other conversation we don't need to get into. So here, when we get into what we've been playing, we're going to talk about some games we finished. But before we get into that, I wanted to discuss, Matt, when you finish a game, like where is like your mindset? Like for me, a little bit, it's like, what really sucks is if I finish a game at like 8:30 at night, I'm like not in the mood to play something like 8:35. You know what I mean? There's like something like washes over you and a feeling of completeness, and you're sort of thinking about that game and processing it. And then I need to like wait a day before I jump into like a brand new game. Like if I finished a single player or even the game that we played together, I could jump into like something small like Brotato or Geometry Survivor or something like that. We're just playing rounds over and over again, Balatro, something like that. I wouldn't be able to like finish Split Fiction and then all of a sudden, start a new game like, 10 minutes later and have to learn new mechanics. Like the brain needs like a period of time to reset. And then it's like, seems like it's available to pick up like a whole new game, be open-minded to hear a new story, new mechanics, etc. I'm not sure if you're feeling that or no, I finished fucking game A and I'm ready to go. Like, give me game B.
No, I would say 90% of the time I'm kind of the same way, where I'll finish a game. And like you, it's like, okay, well, I don't want to, it's 8:30 at night or 8 or even 7 o'clock. It's like, well, shit, I don't want to get into something new because you don't know, starting a new game, how much time it might be until you can actually, quit or stop, without having to repeat a bunch of stuff over again. So I'll do the same thing as you. I'll jump in like Diablo or Minecraft or something that there's no
something
time
like something
issue.
that like the back of your hand, right? Because for me,
Right.
if you think about most games, single player games, the end is the culmination where you have to know like all the mechanics, right? You're putting it all together like a final exam at a school. And whether you take an exam or you finish a game, there's like that coming down moment. And like my brain just isn't ready to wrap my head around a whole new set of lore and instructions and tutorials. And it's like it was just programmed like 5 minutes ago to do all these other button pushes. I need like a day to like reset.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm at right now. I'm trying to figure out what I want to play next. I finished Avowed, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. And I'm trying to decide, like, that really scratched that, like, fantasy itch. Do I take my third and fourth or fifth stab at, what's that fucking game that Jeremy always says I need to finish? Bethesda game. Elder
Scrolls or Skyrim?
Skyrim. Thank you. Right. It's pretty much I can play that on my microwave at this point, but the game really, the game feels like it's so old. It's never really like got its like hooks in me. Do I play the new Dragon Age, which is supposed to be really good? Do I get away from the fantasy? I have tons of things. I could play that pirate game. I could play the Star Wars Outlaws. There's tons of stuff on deck. And I'm just trying to figure out what my next move is. I really liked Avowed, which we'll get to here. So I was just curious how you approached that. I know we finished Split Fiction this week, but you were already in the middle of like Kingdom Come, so that was sort of just like a natural, like, okay, now I can just sort of focus my time on that. Where I sort of finished two things in 1 week, and I'm like, what do I do now? Because I feel like I've done as much as I can in Diablo until the next season comes out.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat where I got a day or two, but normally there's another game on tap that I know. Like Kingdom Come. I'm not sure if I'm going to finish it or not. It's a very long game. It's very, I'll probably start something new before. I still got Civilization, get into Avowed, all that. Kind of jump around. Wouldn't mind getting into Assassin's Creed Shadows. I kind of jump around from game to game a lot.
You don't finish many games, and is that something that you wrestle with, or it's just like, no, it's like, I dip in, I dip out, I dip in, I dip out, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah, it's a issue, sure. Depends on the game, how much the game's got me into it. Like, I'm really into Kingdom Come. I get into these games and I play the shit out of them for a long time. It depends on the pace and how it's going. If like Diablo, I finished that because it was a fast pace, good, fun game to do. Fallout 76 was the same way. Kingdom Come's a little bit slower pace. I'm starting to get into the meat of the game a little bit more. I can talk about this later too. But I don't know. There's depends a lot in the game. But yeah, I do need to. That is one of my issues is actually finishing games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sucks when you buy a game and either you can't finish it because it's not grabbing. Like, if it doesn't grab my interest, that's really the bum out. It's like, yeah, this isn't really what I thought it was going to be. And it's never fun. Like when you put in a day's worth of work, you have family time, you got all your commitments done for the day, and now it's your own relaxing time, and you feel like you're butting your head up against the game, and you're just trying to shoehorn it in to finish it because you bought it.
Right. There's no pleasure there neither.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's like a recent. I think I've gone back to like Mass Effect Andromeda a couple times to try to finish. A perfect example is, the GTA 5. Like,
yeah.
There's some parts of that GTA 5 I really liked from a story perspective, but then there's other parts of that game where I just always, just bail out, do blah, blah, blah within a certain amount, always the police chases, like, try to avoid the police as long as you can, the helicopter shit with the crazy guy.
Yeah.
That's a game that I like in certain moments, and in other moments I'm like, all right, this isn't really what I've signed up for, and I bail out, and all of a sudden I'm back like a year and a half, 2 years later. I never fucking finished that game,
Yeah, I think every game's got that, where there's a certain quest or a certain thing you gotta do that's like, okay, this is a chore. This is not fun. This is a pain in the ass. Split Fiction had that a couple times where it's like, okay, this is pretty fucked up. This is a pain in the ass. Yeah, and there's games like that with me where it's like, okay, I got to put this down for a little bit and then come back to it later, or somehow bypass it or something. See what I can do.
Yep.
Because like we said before, we play these games to escape and have fun time. We already spent all day working, dealing with other bullshit, and the last thing I want to do is when I'm playing a game have to struggle and have a hard time with that, because that's not what I'm gaming for.
Yeah, we'll get into a good example of that here in just a minute. Before we get into what we've been playing, a quick update on the baseball card saga that we've been chronicling the last couple episodes. We finally put this story to bed. The Paul Skenes MLB debut patch autograph cards sold for $1.11 million. Early last Friday morning, the 11-year-old boy from Los Angeles will pocket $925,000 from the sale. So I imagine the difference in there is what the auction house takes, and who knows how much Uncle Sam takes from that $925,000.
Wow. Not a bad haul for a baseball card.
Nope. And certainly the person who bought it, we talked about last week, is sort of like buying a volatile stock. We'll see if that goes up. We'll see if that goes up, or if this guy is leading the social media life, or at least his girlfriend, fiance, or wife is very popular in social media. If that becomes more of a thing for him and less focus on the game, and then his performance suffers, and then the value of that card goes down. So the person there is, certainly taking on all the risk there. And the kid, I think, a young kid like that did the right thing, taking the money. Probably all of us would have taken the money. Matt, he said, now that you know what the value is, Matt, now you have the value there in front of you. You can make the decision. Are you still taking the 30 years of season tickets and all the other things you would have bargained for? Or with the current state of things, we're not going to get into that too much, but where the U.S. dollar could be, not even worth the paper it's printed on anymore here if things go a certain way. What was better, taking the money or taking the guaranteed seats for 30 years?
Yeah, I probably would have taken the money, and then right away buy season tickets. Yeah. And some other things before the value went down.
You didn't chime in on the Jay Maniac posted in our Discord thing about the opening day ticket values, and the Reds and Giants were the most. Now I know the Reds, opening day is a big deal. There's a parade and everything like that, and there's a lot of hoopla.
Yeah.
Is that why the ticket's so expensive? It's like I want to be seen there. It's less about the game. It's more about the atmosphere and being around it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is. And those weren't actual tickets from the Reds. So that's from a third party seller, a scalper or whatever. So I mean, the Reds tickets are not that expensive. You can get into a Reds game for $15 or less. All right, so. It's the third party seller. They know it's opening day, which is a big, huge thing here in Cincinnati. So, yeah, the demand is high for those tickets.
Yeah, so what's the third party? That was my whole point. Whether it's the Reds selling the price or the third party, the next day, the third party price has even got to be cut in half. So if it's if it's $189 a ticket on day one, I got to say it's somewhere around $90 day two.
I doubt it.
Even
lower, like today is their second game of the season. I guarantee it's not a sellout.
Yeah.
You can get tickets for cheap. I mean, I bet you I can get on Reds.com and get tickets for today's game.
Yeah.
And I'm not paying that much money. I'm probably paying maybe $20 a ticket, or like I said, I can get out the bleachers for probably $15, $16.
When was the last time you sat in the bleachers, sir? You know how you are. Go first. Every time you've been in the suites, you don't go back to the bleachers. I go first class. Matt doesn't go back to the back of the plane anymore. He waits for the tickets for the company and sits in the suite.
Yeah, I've never sat in the bleachers.
Don't listen to him, folks.
I never will.
Yeah, don't listen. Yeah, I can get tickets today for $15. Yeah. The difference between can and will is about a mile long.
Well, I could get the tickets for that much, but then I'd probably I'd be one of them assholes that doesn't sit in the bleachers. I keep moving around the stadium. Oh, hey, so these are my seats. Oh, my bad, man. Get up and find some other empty seats to sit in.
Oh, those people drive me nuts.
Oh, I hate them, assholes. I hate them. I absolutely hate them.
Disrupting the whole
flow. Me a couple of times. I'm just go down and, hey, these are my seats. Oh, they are? Like, really? Come on, dude. Yeah. Okay. I'm just coming up to random people saying, hey, you're sitting in my seats. No, get the fuck out of my seats. Get out of here. Go to your own seats.
French fries go flying everywhere. Soda.
Yep. It's great.
Can't take Matt anywhere.
Who said that?
One of the all-time classics. Oh, damn. I was thinking that the other day. The women I work with, their kids are in all sorts of, after-school activities, specifically like baseball now. And she started talking about it, that she doesn't get involved in the politics, but then, one word after another. And she's like, yeah, we just learned that, blah, blah, blah is only going to be pitching this year. He's not going to be playing the field, and we're not very happy, And I was like, yeah, you don't get involved with the politics. Here we go. All right, Matt. We have finished some games. We give ourselves a pat on the back here. It's not often that we cross the finish line on many things, but if anybody's been listening to our shows over the years, Matt and I have played the Hazel Light games together. It started with The Way Out, and then It Takes Two, and now Split Fiction. So we finished all three. I would say out of the three of those games, It Takes Two was my favorite out of them. Split Fiction was very good. A lot of ingenious design that Hazelight is known for. Also borrowing heavily from other, games beforehand and then making their own, whether they're poking fun at it or borrowing it. Imitation is the greatest form of flair. What's the phrase? What I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flattery.
Battery. I was going to say fattery. Thinking of butter.
Ooh.
But yes, they borrow a lot, make it their own, very, very unique stuff. And, we had a great time with it. Like we documented last week, some tense moments here and there. Some of us have stronger style of play in one area than versus the other. I think, that was shown throughout our playthrough of the game. Matt excelled in some other areas, I excelled in some other, and then we sort of, mashed it all together to sort of plow through it. Matt was not a fan of the last biome or region, whatever you want to call it. It was, just a different play style.
Yeah.
And then it all culminates like most games with, some sort of boss battle there at the end. It was a Friday night, so it was last Friday. Long week. And Matt and I were both like, fuck this. I'm not doing this anymore. And after we sort of disconnected and said our good nights, I looked at the video online to see how long of this process was that we were sort of stuck at this boss battle. Is how long was the sequence, and we were right there. I texted Matt. I was like, all we had to do was just sort of survive that, and we were done. Of course, the videos I was watching, they finished a little bit quicker because I don't want to give too much spoilers away, but you got to sort of avoid / kill the mini bosses while still attacking the main boss. And if you can kill the main boss before some of these mini bosses, then it sort of moves on to the next, sequence in the game. And I think, we were sort of more focused on continuously killing the mini bosses, which was prolonging it for us, where we had to make sure we were attacking the main boss while killing the mini bosses. And that would sort of end that sequence. And so I think once we grasp our heads around that, it went a lot, smoother. I think we did it the first time we tried on the next day.
Yeah, I was going to say Friday night, we probably spent an hour or so at least that last part of that boss battle just going over and over again. We were both getting frustrated. We were both getting pissed off. And we're like, all right, you know what? We're done. Okay, let's stop and come back later. And so, Mike texted me Saturday morning and said, hey, you want to give it a try again? I was like, yeah, I guess, thinking it's going, all right, here we go again. Going to be this big thing. No, we got done in like 15 fucking minutes and we were done. And it was like, well, now what?
Yep. Yeah, because we just had I think you said a key thing on the Friday night when we were playing it. You're like, fuck, we had the guy down like, 80, 90%. It was just a sliver of health left. And that was our cue that we just needed to focus on him and just, not so much put all our energy into the mini bosses.
Yeah. I agree with you, Mike. I think Take Two is the best of the ones we played so far. Split Fiction was good. I think it was very creative. Graphically, it was really good. It was really neat to see some of the stuff they did with that, especially that last level where they were like changing the worlds quickly on you type of thing. That was pretty smooth and seamless. That was pretty wild.
Yeah, like you were in two different worlds at the same time, and just picture like, I'm going to date myself here, but remember the Brady Bunch episode where Greg and Peter put the line in the bedroom, like you can't cross over this line. So there's like a line on the floor, like to the left of the line is one world, to the right of the line is the other world, and as you cross that line, things on your screen sort of changed.
It was pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean a lot of programming chicanery has to go on behind the scenes to pull that off. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of smart people really taking a long view at how other games pull things off and then try to meld them together into one game, but two games at the same time in one game. You know, that's the... And again, while we were both playing on Xbox, I haven't heard anybody say that there was issues. Like, you could have been on a PlayStation and I could have been on Xbox, or you could have been on PC and I could have been on the Xbox. You know, that to me is like almost like the real magic, right? Like, we were both on Xbox systems, so we've seen that before, but you could have been on PlayStation and I could have been on Xbox and vice versa, and all that would have just worked too.
Yeah.
Which is some...
Yeah, that was that whole joining in and starting the game, seamless and just quick and fast. No issues there. Very easy. I A+ for that for sure.
Yeah, EA's got EA in the past has had some issues with that. This is definitely an EA game. Hazelight has their games published by EA, so got to give some props to EA for assisting with that. Yeah, just very seamless. And maybe that's why all that just worked, that they could just rely on those people and their knowledge to have all that sort of cross-play work together.
Yeah.
But very fun game. I know some people gave it, good scores, but knocked it down a little bit for the story. I don't know. That like carried with me on my own as I was playing the game. I didn't feel like the story was that lacking. Like, I didn't get to know the characters that much. I mean, there was so much other shit going on the screen. Like, I think it would have just bogged me down if I also had to like take a deep dive into these characters at the same time.
Yeah, they were throwing so much at you already.
Yeah, I didn't feel like that was like... I didn't feel like I was playing a bunch of vanilla characters and it was all bland. I was...
You know what? I'd be curious, Mike, because we didn't do it. I wonder how many people switched characters throughout their play. Like, we pretty much, at the beginning, you can choose, who you want to play. And we just kind of naturally kept choosing that person,
Well, I assume that's the replayability of it. Like, if you said, geez, Mike, that was a great experience. Let's do it again. And this time you play the other character and I'll play this character, to your point. Mm-hmm. How many people switched it up per place,
Mm-hmm.
Or just, not even like per world, just like per play session. Like, hey, last session I was playing with this one I'll play with this.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, so that's the whole... If it's going to be a long time in between games, maybe down the road, we got nothing to play. We say, hey, let's boot it up again, and we'll switch characters. I can't remember what it takes too. If you could do that as well, or they locked you in.
Yeah, I can't remember if we could switch or not.
Yeah, but yeah, the game did look beautiful. My prediction, Matt, just based on a couple of the interviews I've read or have seen with the guy from Hazelot, I think their next game is going to be... I'm not sure what the right word is. Mature, more adult. Adult might not be the right word, but I think it's going to be more, let's say, like, I'm not going to, I guess like a cyberpunk, like it's not going to be so much themed for like kids. That's just my take. It might be a more, always going to be co-op, right? That's what they're known for. But yeah, maybe they'll venture out and put out a single player game as well. But I think they've proven they got the chops to make any type of game they want. Anything else you want to say on Split Fiction?
If you're looking, you got a good friend and you want to play a game together, give it a try. I definitely would recommend playing it.
Yeah. All right. I finished Avowed this week.
Yes.
And before we get into that too much, just talk sort of a little bit about when you play games that you go to a place like you can't, like, what's it called? Like, you hit that zone where you can't, it's like the point of no return.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I feel like everybody handles the point of no return differently. Like sometimes I've seen you go to the point of no return. Like once you go through this gate, you can't go back and finish anything until you finish this area. And then I've seen other places where the point of no return really means the fucking point of no return. Like
the game's over. Yeah, the game's over. You're done.
And unfortunately, that's what it is for Avowed. So just people listening.
Oh, wow.
So I was, a lot of things like I do in Matt. I maybe overplan, and maybe that's part of my mental health problems. I sweat the details too much. I created a separate save before I went into the point of no return. And then I beat the game and was hoping I could go back and clean up stuff. I can't. So now what I'm doing, even though I've beaten the game, now I've booted up my old save. And I'm cleaning up bounties I missed, treasure chest, other sorts of odds and ends. And then I'm going to go back and beat the game again.
Do you think it'll be a different ending or anything different what happened?
No, I mean, I like the ending I got. Do I want to do a different ending just to see it? That's an interesting thing that I haven't thought about yet. But I like the ending I got. So yeah. Do I wrestle? I think my answer is no. I want to have like this for whatever reason, because I think there's going to be an expansion. I want to have the ending I got again and have everything done and, and then get my character. The level cap in the game is 30, just for people that are aware. So my character now in this second save is not at 30 yet. So by the time I finish it, it will be back at 30. So I think my plan is, unless I do a third save, is to finish it like I finished it before, but with all the other stuff completed and the same exact ending, and be back at level 30 again. I tell you, if I finish it for the second time, not at level 30, I'm gonna be pissed. But I gets back to what we were talking about at the top of the show, like what do I want to play next? And I was wrestling with that. And Avowed is somewhat of a shorter game. I'm closing in on probably 75 hours here by the time I'm done with it on my second playthrough, or not really a second playthrough, but finishing it second time. So that's kind of a medium-sized game, 75 hours. I think most people are beating it in the 50-ish hour range, but I took my time and did a lot of exploring and trying to find all these chests and so on and so forth. So yeah, that's, I wasn't satisfied. I didn't feel like, sometimes when you beat like The Witcher or you beat Cyberpunk and you got these games, or 800 hours in Fallout 76, over 400, 500 hours in Diablo. Like, I feel like I got my money's worth. I feel like I need a clean break and play something else. I didn't have that with Avowed after 70-ish hours. I was like, no, I still need more Avowed. So that's why I went back and decided to finish the game again and get as many of the collectibles as I can. Like do all the totems, treasure chests, bounties. And, doing that, I was able to, there was some side quests that I couldn't figure out. And now at this sort of, save point that I had, I could figure them out. It's maddening sometimes when you play these games and you select, whether it's Avowed or some other game, you select a quest and it shows you on the map, okay, this is where you need to go, right? Whether it's to turn the quest in or the next point. And I had there's this one quest line that goes throughout the whole game. And you collect something and then you're supposed to return it. But it would never tell you where to go. And I was reading online, says, sometimes it's not available depending on where you are at the story. So I was like, all right, I've collected all these things. I'm just going to wait to the end of the game and then hand it into the fucking guy. And then, of course, like I said, the point of no return, you can't go to that guy anymore because that guy doesn't exist where he needs to be. So this other playthrough that I have, I was then able to go and return everything. So I cashed in a lot of those side quests and bounties that I thought I could cash in, and I wasn't able to. So that was nice to be able to go back and get all that XP and get all the money and the rewards for handing that in. And now I got a sweet arquebus gun, which has been my primary weapon throughout the game. I think I'm on my third or fourth iteration of this gun. And now the one I have, also, I think it's been infused with some star metal, which you get in the game very rarely, and you got to bring it to this one guy that can work with it, one blacksmith that can work with star metal. So I got a pretty sweet gun.
I think what you just explained there, I would probably end up going through with that second save and completing the game with that. Because you got all the more stuff in that, and then go ahead and beat the game. Then that'd be your, I guess, primary save to, in case, like you said, DLC or something came out.
Yep, that's where I'm at with it. And I got to the point now where like I'm never going to play as the wizard. I'm never going to play with the bow, even if I got like the unique items. I'm breaking it down and taking all the materials from it rather than storing it like a hoarder in my chest. Oh, maybe someday I'll wake up and want to be a wizard. No, that's not fucking happening because I'll be on to some other game just breaking all that shit down.
Yeah.
Really good game. If I had to give it a score, somewhere in the 8.5, 9 range. I really enjoyed my time with Avowed and think it's well worth playing. I'd be curious to hear other people's takes playing with the different play style. I chose the sort of war hero / fighter sort of playthrough. I'd be curious to see if more of the wizard people, what their take would be on the game. But I very much enjoyed sniping guys from away with the arquebus, and then when necessary, engaging in hack and slash combat either with the shield and the hatchet or my two-handed emerald splitter. Curious when you jump back in, Matt. You got to tackle that bear, Matt. That bear is just sitting on your shoulder there, taunting you to come back to the game. Don't be afraid of me, Matt. Don't be afraid.
He's taunting me. Yeah. I'll get back into it here for sure.
All right. Let's get into what else you've been playing.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has been the main game I've been playing. Getting more into the meat of the game, as I said earlier. Some side quests completed. I'm getting my skills up. I'm leveling up. I'm getting better gear, stronger gear, so I can fight better. I'm the fighting mechanic. I'm starting to, I wouldn't say master, but it's coming a little bit more natural to me for fighting in that. So yeah, it's been going really, really well, and I keep saying it, but man, the atmosphere in that game is absolutely incredible. They've really nailed it with that game to take you away, make you feel like you're really walking in the woods and stuff. It is wild. I'm learning how to pick. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I keep forgetting. I think I've asked you this, but I keep forgetting the answer to it. Is there only one sort of fighting style in the game, or is there multiple?
There's only one fight. I mean, you could use swords, bows, crossbows, or your fist. So it's all, hand-to-hand combat type of stuff.
So you don't have any sort of like, I don't know the story of Kingdom Come at all. So you're just a dude or a woman or just person. You don't have any sort of like, you're not someone special with any sort of powers or anything. You can't do any sort of, there's no,
Nope.
and the world itself has no sort of like mystic powers where you come across a wizard or a warlock that does,
Nope.
None of that.
Nope. Nothing. None of that. None of that is in this game. There's no wizards, warlocks. I mean, they talk about witches because it's game way back in the one, but there's no like witches that have powers and stuff that can zap you with lightning bolts and shit. They're just oh, she's a witch. She kills cats, whatever. Anyways,
What's the what's the time period of this game?
like the Middle Ages, around that type of time.
So 1500s?
Yeah, somewhere around then. Yeah. You're looking, it's swords, horses, kings and queens and princes and lords and stuff like that. Taverns and inns that you can go to. You can sleep. You sleep on hay in some places.
I could picture you being a big tavern guy, Matt. You like
absolutely.
You living in a little sleepy town and just going to the tavern, not sleeping on the hay. I mean, you might just be on. They might throw you on the hay at the end of the night, but I could picture you being a tavern guy.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, go to the tavern.
Do you know who John Prine is?
Not offhand, no.
John Prine is a big folk singer. In the 60s, 70s, and he died in the beginning of COVID. But his like third or fourth wife that he was married to for a long time was Irish. They lived in Nashville, but they vacationed back in Ireland where she had property. And she said John was never happier when he was in their small Irish village and just living in a very modest house and going to the tavern at night. And he was just John to the people in town. And, they would all be there with their instruments, playing Irish music. And they might have known who John Prine was, or maybe they didn't, but they just knew him as John. And he would just pull up there with his guitar and, jam out with their, fiddles and banjos and his acoustic guitar. And they said he was never happier when he was just in a small little tavern playing with the locals. And that would be
that's awesome.
I could picture Matt, being in the corner with the pipe, just hanging out with the locals,
telling stories.
Yeah.
Yep. Telling stories, having a little ale. Yep.
I can't picture a good Ohio boy like you doesn't know who John Prine is.
Yeah. I bet you. Well, yeah. No, I don't know. Yeah, never heard him. But the game's great. It can be a slow burn, and maybe could be depending on your gameplay. Yeah, I'm taking a little bit slower, I guess. I'm sure you could rush into things. You can't skip over dialogue and stuff like that. So if there's something you have to, sit there and listen through these cutscenes and talking and stuff like that. And some of it's pretty good. Some of it can be hilarious, can be fun. Some of those things that just saying how short and quick your character's name is Henry, how Henry can be with, saying stuff and answers and that can be like me sometimes. I think it's just like, there can be some funny things that happen. It's just a neat little different game. They did really, really good creating this world and that. And I'm still only in the beginning. There's a whole other map area to go to in that I haven't been to yet.
There's supposedly, the people that I've followed on online that talk about this game out. There's supposedly some big event that happens in the middle of this game. I'm not going to say it out loud and spoil it. But that's like sort of like once you've done that, like you're on to the second half of the game.
Yeah, I'm right now my goal is to get to this wedding. That's
the event that I'm talking about.
Yeah, there's a wedding I have to go to, and I've got halfway to it. Now I'm doing another side thing for a dude to help me get to the wedding. The one thing you have to make this sword, okay, as a gift to the guy in the wedding, with this blacksmith. And that's a whole big story there doing that. Okay, now I'm on this other side where the guy that teaches you thievery and how to pickpocket and be, stealthy in that, he's got a whole quest line of stuff to do. And so I'm kind of going through that, get them both done. And then there's, some side quests I do. But yeah, I can go to the wedding now if I want to, because I finished the blacksmith's story, but I want to do this other one first. And then, I can go.
Like the thievery and the pickpocketing sounds to me like too much stealth, which I'm not great at. Like, would I have to do that if I wanted to? But if I didn't do it, I just wouldn't have that in like my repertoire of skills.
Correct. Yeah. You just, there'd be a lot more fighting, I guess, because there's places where you got to like pickpocket to steal some keys or steal a piece of paper or break into someone's house and get something.
No, I just want to brawl. Let me loose.
There's that play style that you could do that in for sure. I'm more of a negotiator type of guy. Say things and try and talk my way through it.
You're in my fucking seats. Strong negotiating skills, Matt. Strong.
That would give me negative reputation.
Yes. With Barb and the people in the seats.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, especially with Barb. Yeah. In the game, up in the corner. There's a smiley face or a mad face that pops up if you say something right or wrong. There'd definitely be a red face that would show up. I'm sure it happened many times I'm out with Barb where a red face shows up where I say something or do something.
That's why I stay home.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
So we look forward to what are we, episode 29? Episode 129, the culmination of when this...
I might be at the wedding by then.
Sort of like me, you think back to Fallout 4 where I never got to Fenway Park. I was just playing over and over again, and I still hadn't... Whatever they called Fenway Park in that game, I still hadn't gotten there. Many, many months. I was milking that thing like a fine cow. I've been playing a lot of other stuff, Matt. Real quick, Ludelnot is a nice little cozy game to play when you're not in the mood to do much else besides clean up an ocean. The only really sort of dynamic in that game that puts you on edge is that you run out of oxygen. But you're this little guy, I don't know, set off in this ocean to clean it up from all sorts of trash and scum, and sort of bring these little biomes back to life with fish and other sort of animals. So it looks great on the Steam Deck, just casually playing it, cleaning up the ocean, going back and building up my character. You got back at your home base, you have these recycling bins that you can throw all the trash in that spits out. So if you put a whole bunch of those plastic 6-pack things that hold 6-pack, those plastic things, you recycle a whole bunch of those, and it spits you out this big plastic bit. And then you go to the manufacturing machine, and you can make a stronger gun. You can build more oxygen things along the way, so you don't have to always go back to home base. Lights, and some of the places get dark in the ocean, so you can light things up. Very low stress, in between meetings, lull at work type of game. Pop it on, clean up a little bit, take your zapper out and clean all the scum off certain plants in the ocean. And it's not a realistic looking game, it's kind of cartoony a little bit, but it's enjoyable.
Created by Greenpeace?
I don't know. I understand the joke there, but I don't know.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah. Ludelnot.
Ludelnot.
Loddlnaut. Ludelnot.
Yeah.
And then I've been playing a lot of Geometry Survivor. I love those sort of, I don't know, roguelikes where over and over again you're trying to get better runs. When you get everything humming with all your skills, all your power-ups, it is really a sight to behold in this game. So, you're just basically like a hexagon ship with a little blip that comes out and starts killing stuff. And then as you explode stuff, you pick up these little points along the way, and the meter fills up. Okay, now you can pick a different weapon. And by the time you get done, you have like 6 weapons equipped. You have them fully... the evolution is full all the way. And then you can pick up these other power-ups. When you get all that stuff humming, and then the game is throwing obscene stuff at you at the same time, it is really quite the visual spectacle on your screen. And they're 20-minute runs. I've completed about a handful of them now. And then you can unlock, you go to the shop and you can buy other power-ups, other buffs, other game styles that you can unlock along the way. But I think I bought it for like, I don't know, $249 on a Steam sale, $149.
Yeah.
I think the game itself is like $499.
Yeah, it's $249 right now.
Yeah. It looks great on the Steam Deck. It's a bit of a slow burn in the beginning until you figure out, you go to the shop and buy stuff. There's another game out there this there's a lot of games out there that are similar to this, but the other game that I've played that is similar to it is called Void Bastards. And that game is a little faster paced, but you can get Geometry Survivor. Geometry Survivor is like the same developer or same, the Geometry Wars games.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you. It's along the same because it looks very similar.
Yeah. But yeah, Geometry Survivor. You can get it. You can get your ship to move at a faster pace the further you play through the game by purchasing some of the unlocks throughout the game. But Void Bastards, if you're looking for a game that's just going to have a faster ship right from the drop, that is a game to play as well. So I like to play both of those games. Some people do crossword puzzles during the day, break up the monotony. These are nice little 15, 20-minute rounds that I can play to sort of pass the time, whether in between meetings or waiting for dinner or whatever. Good jump in and jump out type of games. And the last thing I've been playing is I tried to play a little bit of Balatro. And I wanted to talk to you about that a little bit because I am used to playing like poker and trying to get the best hand. So a lot of time when I play Balatro, it's like, shit, it's setting me up like to get a royal flush, a straight flush, a straight, anything like that. And I feel like I'm hurting my hand by waiting for that ultimate hand. And should I be playing the pairs a lot early? If I have three of a kind, should I be playing that? Because really the objective with these rounds is to get what? To beat the blind, to get the 300 300 points, 500 points, and 750 points, right? So I've done that. Right. I've done that once. But I feel like I am losing rounds because I'm discarding too much, and then I'm out of discards, or I'm playing. It doesn't feel like a regular poker game is what I'm getting at here. Like if I was me and you were playing poker, I would try to get the best hand to beat you. And this you're playing. It feels like, correct me if I'm wrong, like if I have two pairs, I should be playing those right away to get more cards back, to get more pairs, so I can eventually bump up that number.
Yeah, and it depends on how very early in the game, it's pretty much a play the best hand you have. It's a flush, a couple pair, three of a kind, full house, whatever. But once you start playing, after every round, you get to go and buy cards, or you can get jokers, stuff like that. So you want to start building your hands to what you want to do. If you get a joker that gives you extra multiplier for clubs or something like that, then you want to start getting clubs. It doesn't matter what they are. You just want to you got to build your hand to what your play style or what you're given when you first start playing. There's the magic cards that change cards from one thing to another. There's cards that enhance your cards down there, and yeah, you just kind of gotta. The first couple rounds can be a little slow, and yeah, you're just playing. But once you start building your hands up, then you can start.
This is a game where we might need to experiment and do the Discord.
Oh, yeah.
Share the screen, and you can watch on Discord how I'm playing it, because the jokers, I was like, I don't know how to use the joker here. My only option is when I go to the joker is to sell it. I don't have an option to play it. Like, why can't I play it? I just discarded a card. Why can't I play the joker?
It's on. I mean, like when you get your jokers up in the top there, they're automatic. You don't play them. They're automatic.
They're passive.
They're passive. Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly correct. They're passive.
All right. Well,
you don't play them.
We're gonna have
they just sit there.
We're gonna have to take a deeper dive into that one night, or share my screen, and maybe we'll play a few hands.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea. Yeah,
you can play a few hands. I can play a few hands. Watch.
Yeah.
I wanted to circle back to Avowed real quickly. I forgot. The game looks beautiful on PC, but all of a sudden with their third patch, when I play it on PC, I am prompted with this message telling me that my motherboard is out of date, that I'm on the 13th, they detected I'm on the 13th or 14th iteration of Intel, and that I need to upgrade to something else in the BIOS. So maybe it's not really my motherboard. It's my CPU. It says, that I'm on the 13th or 14th iteration. And I need to go into the BIOS to update this because I'm going to have, instability. I tell you, I played it on PC a couple times, and the game looks fucking stunning on PC. And kudos to, this is really a game, I think, Matt, the first time that I've really taken advantage of the Play Anywhere. So I played Avowed on a couple different Xboxes, my upstairs one and my downstairs one here in the office. I played a little bit, very little bit on the Ally, and I played a bunch on the PC. All with the same save. Just, a quick, hey, we're just syncing saves, and boom, you're off and running. So really, the Play Anywhere for me in this particular game really was a nice thing. I'm thinking of moving on to Dragon Age next. I'm going to be locked in either my PS5 or PC, depending on where I'm playing. I'm not going to be able to bounce around.
Right.
But I did.
And there's no cross progression with that, is there?
I don't think so. I'd have to look at that. I'm pretty sure there isn't. And so when I was playing it on PC for this, when they put out the third patch, I started getting this message, and I was like, "Shit, am I going to harm my PC by this message?" I wish I took a screenshot so I could read it. But anyways, that was the thing that I noticed. I never had any other game tell me that was like my CPU was out of date and I need to go into the motherboard. Otherwise, I'd have some instability issues. I'll have to fire it up on PC and post it in Discord so people can read that and see.
That's kind of weird. Yeah. That might be something you want to throw on Reddit.
Yeah. Because I did the whole
tinkering.
Yeah, I did the whole Armory crate thing and updated everything. I thought that would take care of it, but now that I think of the message, it's more about telling me about Intel than my motherboard, right? Anyways, let's move on to some gaming news, sir. Unless there's any other thing you want to talk about what we've been playing.
I think we covered everything pretty well.
All right, so a couple news items here, heavy on the Switch stuff. Wednesday the 2nd or Thursday the 2nd?
I believe Wednesday's the 2nd.
Okay, so on Wednesday, Nintendo is going to have their Switch 2 Direct. Okay, they had a Direct this week. They didn't cover any Switch 2 stuff in theory, but there is a Direct coming up on Wednesday about the Switch 2 where they're going to show you the system, and theoretically the games, and people are speculating because Best Buy Canada leaked it a little bit, and then they pulled it away, but they're saying that the pre-orders are probably going to go live on Wednesday as well. Which, people, you hope, what I hope doesn't happen, Matt, is they're showing you this Direct, and then during the Direct they're going to say, and pre-orders are live now, because what's going to happen? No one's going to watch that Direct.
They're just going to be, yeah.
They should say like, all right, we're showing you this here, and then tomorrow at 10 a.m. pre-orders go live. I don't know what's better or worse for bots. Like, give them no time to prepare, or give them time to prepare. I don't know. But anyways, the theory is that the Direct is going to happen on Wednesday, and pre-orders will go live on Wednesday as well. So we'll have to see. Do you want to lock in a price, Matt, or what you think? Now that you know where the world is at, with tariffs, everything like that, what are you speculating that this price is going to be?
Well, no, Nintendo, they're always trying to be friendly with prices and stuff like that. I'm going to say $349.
I'm going to say the $399 base model, and then there'll be like a $459, $499 model that will come with like the next Mario Kart or Zelda or something like along those lines.
Yeah, right.
Controller, extra controller. Where I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but just tell me, there's no interest right now. You got to see what the slate of games is like. Even if you see the slate of games, I mean, what would it take? What would it take for Matt Helmer to be interested in the Switch 2? Like, what game would come out that you'd be like, wow, I got to get this system?
That's a good question, man. Probably some type of Mario or Zelda or something. It's hard saying, really.
Because he's dying of allergies right now, and B, because
yeah. But no, it'd be. I mean, there's no. I don't know. I really don't know.
Like a new Animal Crossing 2, whatever the next iteration of Animal Crossing. Hopefully that doesn't mean we're in another we're pulling up on another COVID.
COVID. Hope not.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good. I really don't know. Yeah, if I had, if the kids were younger, it might be a different story.
Yeah.
I don't know. What about you?
Well, I like to, this is my main hobby, so I'd like to have it so I could play it and, here's that word again, tinker with it, but not really tinker with it, just sort of play and see what the whole system is like. But man, it's been a while since I've turned the regular Switch on. Though I will tell you, a lot of the best family moments that we've had have been around, in the early days before I had our third child. We played a lot of like Peggle on the 360 in the 360 days. And then in the Wii days around the same time period, my two oldest boys and my wife and I would play a lot of Mario Kart on the Wii. I can't remember if we did that also or if that was the Wii U or the Wii, but one of those systems we played a lot of Mario Kart. And then when we moved here to this new house, we played a lot of Mario Kart together on the Switch. So the other day, my wife was asking me like, "Hey, Benjamin said that the Switch 2's coming out and there's gonna be a new Mario. When's that coming?" So, anytime that you can get the family all together and do an activity like that is always good fun. So,
oh yeah.
So I would imagine I'd probably get it for that reason, so we could play. And the new Mario Kart, I think, is supposedly online. Is going to at least have a lot more people available. I'm not sure how many local devices can be hooked up to it, but at least you'd hope somewhere between 4 and 6 people could play at a time locally. But I think online is going to be really revamped with a lot more people. So, yeah, I could see us getting it. For sure. Got to see what the price comes in, the availability. I think my patience on a lot of these things, man, I have so many systems now, and I'm not ready. I said this before. I'm not ready to give up the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. I feel like those systems are still giving me good value and good fidelity and good storage capability. Like, I'm not really in a rush to get the PS6 and whatever Xbox is doing next. So what I'm trying to say is my tolerance to jump through a whole bunch of hoops and go to the pre-order and fighting with all that bullshit is very, very low. So I'll make a college try to probably get it on Wednesday, but I'm not going to beat myself over the head like I would with the PS5. Anyways, moving on to the next story here. They're doing something along the lines of game sharing, like you can on Steam and Xbox with Game Pass. It's calling these virtual game cards make digital games even easier to use. The virtual game card feature for Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2 systems adds some of the flexibility of physical game cards to your digital game library. If you have 2 systems, you can digitally eject and load games from one system to another, and you can even lend games to members of your Nintendo account family group. I think you can only lend them up to 14 days at a time, and then they sort of go back, and then maybe you have to redo that over again. Lend games to members of your Nintendo account family group. Lend 1 game per account for 14 days unless the borrower returns it earlier. So they have this sort of diagram of one Switch at the top, and that owner owns Zelda, Pikmin, and Splatoon, and you got 3 other family members below. You can loan them out those 3 games, 1 to each person for 14 days. And I don't know what happens after 14 days. You just got to go in and just renew the renewal, sort of like a library card. You're borrowing digital versions of books through Libby and stuff like that, where you got to renew it. It's the same sort of concept. I'm not sure, but
seems interesting. Seems like a.
It seems like it seems like a pro-consumer move on the surface. I hope it's not convoluted. but certainly a lot of people, families, this is a Nintendo product. They're often shared by families. So yeah, hopefully this is, I know that my son could be on the Switch, my account, playing something else, and I could be on my Switch playing a different game. So that's never been an issue. But I still don't think you can do that here. I don't think I could be playing Zelda at the same time and then lend it out to my son and he can be playing it. I don't think that's what's going on here. I think if you lend it out, you can't play it either. Which is, I don't know if that's problematic or not. I think that's their way of saying you can't just buy Mario Kart and you play it and I play it and we've only bought one copy of the game. You know what I mean? Picking up what I'm putting.
That's probably why it's a 14-day limit.
Yeah.
It's more like a demo trial you're giving somebody else.
Yeah. So, Nintendo always, always jamming that square peg in the round hole, right? They never sort of bend their system to like what's mass accepted elsewhere. They got to do their own thing. Continuing on with the Nintendo news here, there's been speculation when you get the Nintendo Switch 2, which is supposedly going to be maybe along the lines of a base model PS4 as a power fidelity. That's sort of what you're going to be getting with the Nintendo Switch 2, that there will be enhanced versions of the Switch games coming to the Switch 2. So if you think about this from the PlayStation perspective, when they have released new versions of their games, whether it's The Last of Us, God of War, Days Gone, and they've come out with the PS5 version of the game, and you already own the PS4 version, there's usually a $10 upcharge to get the PS5 equivalent. We don't know how Nintendo is going to handle this. So if I own Breath of the Wild on the Switch and they come out with the Switch 2 enhanced version of Breath of the Wild, is that a free upgrade? Is that a full price upgrade? Is it know that it's in my digital library and it's a $10, $15, $20 upgrade? All those things remain to be seen, but the fine print in some of these virtual cards that we just talked about, they do mention a Switch 2 edition game rather than Switch 2 exclusive. So that's telling people that yes, your Switch game is going to be upgraded to a Switch 2 version, whether that means, better graphics, different features, functionality, who knows? But there is going to be some sort of going back to the Switch library and doing something to those games to make them enhance for the Switch 2. So we'll see what the price point is. I think your comment a little while ago that they're always trying to come in under price to be family friendly, I would venture to guess somewhere between $8.99 to $12.99. Nintendo never does anything on the fucking dollar, too. That's the other thing, right?
Yeah, right.
So it's either like $8.99 or $12.99, I think, is going to be where we land with that.
Yeah.
All right, moving off of the Switch stuff here. This one here is really interesting. And I think, for us, Matt, we have systems. First of all, this is about Nvidia's AI assistant is here to optimize your gaming PC. And this is for people that have PCs that have the RTX cards, the 300 series up to the 500 or 3,000 to 5,000. So we both have those, right? You have an RTX, remind me, in the 30 series. Right?
3070.
Yeah, so I have the RTX 4070 Super. So we're both within this. And this is something that you can enable through the NVIDIA app that we have on our system here. It's called G Assist. And, you can go all the way to, asking it to upgrade your gaming PC. And you can add, this is a direct quote from the story, you can even ask G Assist to analyze and optimize your entire PC so it will detect if a game has a frame rate limiter, whether performance of your GPU is limited, and what you can do to improve overall performance. Maybe I should do this for Avowed. It can even detect if refresh rates aren't maxed out on a display and recommend options like overclocking a GPU or lowering in-game resolutions to hit a desired frame rate. I guess the catch here is you can use those RTX cards that we just talked about, but you definitely need a card that at least has 12 gigabytes of VRAM. On the surface, this sounds cool, Matt. I am skeptical right away to use this right out of the box before they refine it. I don't want to get into a situation where I've gone down this thing and I can't revert what it's done.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the Nvidia app already will optimize your games for you. I guess I'm not seeing how this is different from what it's doing now.
Because it's going to do it overall, like overarching. Like the Nvidia thing, you're doing it per game. Like I pull up Avowed and I'm saying optimize it for Avowed.
Right.
This is sort of, I think, maybe a whole overarching, like it's not doing it per game.
Okay.
That's a good question. How does it? I see what you're saying. Like for Avowed, okay, or Diablo, whatever game I'm playing, optimize it for that game. So if I go the other route and don't optimize it for a game, just optimize my system in general. Well, now I pull up Avowed. Has it optimized it out of sync with the optimization that Avowed wants, and then it has to recalibrate itself again? I don't know. Like this gets back to what we're talking about, tinkering. Like I just want a goddamn. This is why I go to consoles, because it's just fucking boom. You turn it on and you play.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that this is. I guess if it works like it's supposed to, you shouldn't have any issues, right? But we all know PCs, they're all different. Everything, what's it? Looking at what's it doing, because there's certain games where yes, I can put on max settings and it should run, but in reality, it doesn't run well. Sometimes it might be a little slow, could be choppiness. So I got adjust it. So is this taking some stuff in consideration like that, or is it just saying, okay, these are the game settings? You have a 4070 Super, so you should be able to do it all with this, all on high quality or whatever.
Yeah. So I guess,
or is it taking everything's into how's it working?
So it's got a chat GPT like output, and you can ask it questions. So the article says, you can ask it, how does DLSS frame generation work? And it will give you an output like that. They say where it gets more interesting is you have the ability to ask G-Assist to optimize games for the best performance or image quality. So I guess in theory, like what we just talked about, you could have it do the whole overarching system, but then you could go back to it and say, all right, you've done that. Are you sure you've optimized it for Diablo? And then it will give you the best performance or image quality. But then you can also have it control the lighting of the device, Logitech, all the other things that are plugged into it. It's like we said at the top of the last episode, this is a non-AI podcast. I like to keep it that way. But this, you can't avoid this shit. It's coming everywhere in life. Bill Gates the other day said, within 10 years, we won't need doctors and teachers, right? I mean, I had my gallbladder removed in 2022, right? And those procedures aren't anymore like opening up. They don't open you up anymore, right? To take your gallbladder out. It's like, the guy said it's like playing a video game. It's, what's the term I'm looking for, Matt? When they,
virtual reality or something like that?
No, there's a medical term where they just laparoscopic.
Non-invasive surgery or non-invasive whatever.
Yeah, right. So they're just, so they've already got programs to do that, and pretty soon they're going to just teach a machine to do that without needing the doctor to do it. You know what I mean? They'll probably need, like, for a time being, maybe an anesthesiologist there, and then they'll say, you know what, we don't even need the anesthesiologist. We'll just have some system to monitor you. And that's when it gets really scary. I mean, I got friends of mine in San Francisco that are sending me videos of them and their family members driving around in cabs with no drivers. And you can sit in the driver's seat as well. They can sit up to 5 people, and one person can be in the driver's seat. We already got cars that are driving, but there's going to be operations and shit. I'm sure it happens right now, too. There's operations. My poor buddy Tino, who passed away due to complications from surgery. I was looking in my phone the other day for some text messages, because I need a new ear doctor, and my mother sent me some sort of text a while ago telling me what operation I had as a little kid. So I typed in my phone like surgery operation, and I got a message from the text from Tino a couple of days before he died, and telling me, that he was scared to go into the surgery, that it was being all done by robots and stuff like that, and he wasn't sure he was going to make it. And, sure enough, he bled out and didn't make it. So yeah, it's just, it's already happening out there, I think,
Right.
and now they're just going to refine it. And it's a scary thought, you don't need teachers or doctors or anything. But getting back to this story, you can optimize it.
I do like how you can ask it questions, because there's a lot. If you go in your graphic settings for a lot of these games,
yeah,
there's a lot of shit there. It's like, okay, what is this actually doing if I turn this off or I adjust this? So it would be nice to ask it, okay, what is this going to do, or what is this changing?
The first question I'm going to ask it, Matt.
Yeah,
I'm going to say, in October, I'm hitting a certain age milestone. And there are days I wake up and my vision is blurry for 5 hours. Does any of this fucking matter?
No, Michael.
No, just play it on medium settings and get on with it.
Yeah. No, you should be playing on a Nintendo.
So that's really where I'm at these days. I spend all this time adjusting and the visuals and shit, and my eyes are pretty much shot, whether that's old age, being in front of a computer for so many years, just being born with, eyes that need glasses from the drop. Yeah. Well, this is a good segue, Matt, for the last news story here, visualizations. I know you are a tried and true Minecraft player.
Yeah.
And the theme of our show, tinkering, I'm sure you haven't done much with Java versions of Minecraft, have you? And with the Java versions, you could have done a lot of upgrading with packs and get the RTX lighting and stuff like that.
Yeah. There's some beautiful skins and stuff out there, and different things you can do with Minecraft to make it look amazing.
But I'm not sure what they call it, vanilla Minecraft, stock, default, whatever you're calling it.
Yeah.
There's going to be a vibrant visual update that's coming to Minecraft. They do these Minecraft live things now, and they have updated that they will be releasing in short term enhanced versions of Minecraft, be coming to both the Xbox and PlayStation consoles. I imagine wherever else they can update it as well. But just without diving into too much of the details, you play Minecraft as sort of your relaxing, chill experience game.
Hmm?
How much of you, when you go back to that, do you go, wow, I wish they would update this fucking game? Like, is this a welcome change that for a while there you've just sort of been, yeah, this would be nice?
I mean, you don't know what you're missing until you get it, type of thing, I guess. I mean, yeah, when I play now, it's Minecraft, right? It's not Kingdom Come with the visuals and the graphics and that. It's Minecraft. So you know what you're getting into. But something like this here with these visuals here, like the water looks really, really cool. It looks different. It looks more real. Those type of changes, yeah, it'd be pretty cool to see. It'd be really different. But yeah, I don't know I'm missing it because I don't have it now, but I would apply this update and check it out and see what it is,
They're saying this is going to be a major milestone for Minecraft. It's coming to Minecraft Bedrock Edition on compatible devices first, and then in the coming months it'll be coming to the other versions. It is planned for Java, but that will come afterwards. They're intending for this update to be easily accessed on many devices, as there will be a simple toggle in the settings to turn on vibrant visuals. It's going to be backwards compatible with all your old worlds, so you don't have to worry about losing any of your favorite builds. On top of that, the visual upgrades will run entirely local. They won't be server-side, so it's player independent. You can enable the upgrade graphics even if other players in your world, do not. So that seems like a proper way to go about it. Minecraft is something I've never been able to get into. I have, it's like sometimes you ask musicians, did you ever get into Led Zeppelin? Did you ever get into Queen or Rush? And people say no, but I respect the hell out of it, what they've done, and the longevity and all this. I feel like the same thing for me, like Minecraft. Like I've never got into it, but I respect that the juggernaut that it is, and how many people play it, and how it's just a simple concept that they've have kept going for years and years and years, and the cultural phenomenon. The movie's coming out this week, the end of next week.
Yeah.
I know you already got, you're a big movie guy. You go to all the theaters. You'll be right there, front row with your popcorn, and
Yeah, I haven't been to a movie theater in years and years, but this one's bringing me out to it.
Yeah, you dressed up as the boxy pink cow,
Steve.
right?
Yeah, yeah. Yes. I was hoping to go as a creeper.
Well, that's just not much has to change then, huh? You just fucking step out the front door.
Exactly. Just I'll wear a green sweatpants and a green sweatshirt.
Walking Red's advertisement. That guy's not a creeper at all. So yeah, maybe we'll have to dive into with the visual updates, since I'm a visual snob with the fabulous visuals that they're going to put up. Maybe I'll have to dip my toes into it to see what it's all about. Another thing we can put on the docket for a Discord streaming. Now, Mike, you're supposed to go over here and hack this little cube, and then go back, take the remnants of that cube, and now go over to here and do this over. I don't understand anything of mine. I just go in there and start smashing shit, and all of a sudden I fall into the world, and I'm like, well, what have I done?
I'm dead. I'm done. Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the games that like, chill. I've got a couple worlds where it's like real, okay, and then I got a couple worlds where it's just creative, where I just go in and everything's available to you to build and do, so you can just fuck around, create whatever you want, and just explore and do shit.
You'll have to show me some of those on Discord.
Yeah,
give me a tour of your world.
Yeah.
All right, sir. We are about at, I don't know, did we, we got to be almost about an hour and a half in, so that seems like an appropriate time to end the show. A lot of news there this week. Real quick, I mentioned at the top, Indiana Jones coming to PlayStation. I saw in the news the two top pre-ordered games right now on PlayStation coming up are Forza Horizon 5 and the Indiana Jones game.
Wow.
It's almost like some guy way back in the Wayback Machine told Xbox to do this.
Who was that guy?
I don't know. On that note, this has been episode 29 on the 29th.
Wow.
Yep. And don't fall for any April Fool's jokes like Matt starting his own podcasting empire. Don't anything that comes out of his social media mouth on the first take with a grain of salt.
Everything I say is true.
Only when it's on social in your group chat?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
What the hell is supposed to do, you moron?